Is this on? Once again, I have been caught off guard by the camera, but that's okay. So now I can look up at the camera itself and not at the screen, so that you don't think I'm looking into space. But regardless, today I would like to touch on the subject of enlightenment and what enlightenment is. Does it mean that you have to go to school for 40 years or sit on a mountain for 10 years, chant every day for an hour, or go to an ashram or a monastery and live your life in solitude? Maybe. It depends on how you want to approach it. I have a different view of enlightenment. And I don't mean enlightenment just strictly from the sort of the woo-woo sense that a lot of people think of when they think of enlightenment, but I'm talking about the sense of being enlightened as far as the education of self, the understanding of environment, your surroundings, the kinds of vibrations that the energy all around you sets off. You know, we live in an energy field. We live in waves. I just did a little poster on my website about that on my Facebook page as well. And you don't have to jump in the ocean to be surrounded by waves, because you always are. And this is simply physics, as many of you know. And physics is all about waves. Obviously, wave physics, quantum physics are smaller particles. But enlightenment, to get back to the main subject, is really understanding the oneness, the wholeness of life and your part in it, and the fact that you can be greater than just your physical self. Again, I don't want you to think it's woo-woo stuff and so forth, but think of it this way. When you watch TV or you're watching this film, you know that, this video, you know that you're getting it because you can pick up the vibrations, you can pick up the waves, you can hear them, you can see them, that have been transmitted to you from YouTube or whatever site you're watching this on. And just like when you watch TV or you listen to the radio, it's all about the transmission of waves so that you can become enlightened by the information that you're given. Now, I'm going to be a little unabashedly commercial here and tell you that my new book, can you see it? Yes, Soaring to Enlightenment. I feel like a weather person that's pointing to a green screen, but Soaring to Enlightenment, The Secret to Living a Contented Life, there I am. It's really a story about a slice of my life and how I, over time, became more and more enlightened. Not that my father didn't teach me about enlightenment, because he was quite an enlightened man, but the fact that enlightenment contains certain things. It's, again, knowing how you fit into the universe, the world, and so forth, realizing about energy and physics and the recognition of the oneness of things. And I know I'm repeating it again, but it's worth repeating. And that there are certain elements and constants that we have around us that we usually don't take advantage of. We don't really use our minds to the fullest extent. We don't really use our cognitive abilities to the fullest extent. You always hear that we only use maybe 1/10 of our mind, and I don't know how accurate that really is. But nevertheless, we don't really know how powerful we really are. If you can peel away some of the layers that keep you from your inherent wisdom and knowledge, you can go quite far. You got to get rid of all the hate, the prejudice, all the crap you deal with on a daily basis, and basically get back down to the essence of you and what's inside of you. And then after you begin to realize things, you become a lot more contented. And I go into it in depth in the book. There are certain things in the book that have lessons in them, and I will give you a few of the lessons that's on the book. And by the way, the book has been out for a week and it's running up the charts. I'm amazed at how quickly it's moving ahead. And I want to thank those of you who have bought it and those of you who will buy it. Again, it's called Soaring to Enlightenment, The Secret to Living a Contented Life. It's on Amazon and it's on Barnes & Noble. A couple of the things are separate yourself from yourself. And by that, I mean that you think of yourself as yourself, but there is a self as a being that you can rise above. And that's the next point, rise above it. Laugh a lot and keep life in perspective. When you just do those, and there's more in here, and there's illustrations and so forth, but it's really a story. It's a narrative about a slice of my life that's done through the eyes of three people. So I would love you to pick that up. I'd also like you to visit me on Facebook at facebook.com, Dan Goldberg FB, as in Frank and Bob. And my website is dangoldberg.net, and you're free to come there, but as well. However, what I really want you to do is look at yourself, be aware of your being, get rid of all the negative thoughts, and because basically they just waste time and energy and just eat you up and don't provide any positive energy to you. And little by little, you'll become enlightened. If you have to do yoga, that's great. If you have to chant, that's great. If you have to go to a monastery, that's great. But you can actually live an enlightened life. As I like to say, I live a yogic life. It's a constant for me. My yogic life is ongoing. It's ongoing right now. It will be going on all throughout my life, and I live that way. So I hope you can and have picked up some thoughts from this short video. If you pick up the book, that would be wonderful. And you can always comment on my websites, send me your feedback and so forth on Facebook, and I look forward to seeing you soon. Thanks a lot. Take care. Be enlightened.